Hi guys, today I want to talk to you about eyebrows. This is something that I get asked about a lot. I mean, I've spoken a lot about brows in the past. I made videos about my top kind of high-end and low-end brow products, I think last year, the year before, because brows have always been something that kind of evaded me, or eluded me, evaded me? I want to say evaded me. Answered on a postcard. What was the right word there? I've always struggled with finding the right products for my brows. At one point I had very, very white blonde hair, and finding the right colour was a nightmare. But I also had to pencil them in because I had like no brows to work with. I was a child of the 90s, was born in the 80s, but I was a child of the 90s, and we went through that kind of pencil thin eyebrow phase, and I plucked mine beyond all recognition, which is something I'm massively disappointed in myself over. I'm really regretful that I did that. If you are a teenager watching this right now, please leave your eyebrows alone. I'm not saying don't pluck them, tidy them up, that's fine. Don't change their shape. Back when the thicker brow was not in fashion, I really overplucked my brows and just did irreparable damage. Or so I thought. Until last year, I discovered this product called Rapid Brow. Now, please feel free to recommend different things in the comments. When I've mentioned this before, people have mentioned other brands. Gosh, apparently have got something similar to this that people think is really great. I haven't tried it myself yet, but this one I highly recommend. I couldn't believe the difference that it made in my eyebrows. I went from having eyebrows that were, well, just kind of very, very fine and sparse. Very, very sparse, very, very fair, and you can't really change that apart from the tinting. And I had, like, if I didn't pencil them in, they looked really, really silly, especially if I had darker hair. So I went from having very, very sparse brows and basically nothing to using this for about 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6, not 46. 4 to 6 weeks. And then I went to the Benefit Brow Bar and had my brows waxed and tinted. Now, a combination of these two things made an absolutely massive difference on my eyebrows. The first thing, I had to actually grow them out. And I was getting eyebrows in places I've never had eyebrows before. So this absolutely 100% did grow my eyebrows. I was getting really long eyebrows, kind of like down here and off here in sections that I've never ever had eyebrows before. I never have had to worry about kind of keeping them in check. I could kind of leave a couple of stray ones underneath here and it was fine because they were very fair anyway. But I've never had like real unruly, crazy eyebrows. So I know that that is down to this product. Then I went to the Benefit Brow Bar and they tinted my eyebrows. I'm going to show you some footage of that now. Or the second time that I went. They tinted my eyebrows and then waxed them. And at first they tint them and it looks completely insane. You look like a character from Lazy Town. And then they wax them and they look amazing. Now, one thing that I would say is the first time I went, I was very, very specific with the person that did it, and I said, this is exactly what I want. I've been growing out my brows. I want to keep as much fullness here, although they weren't full because they were still kind of sparse in the section that had just been growing out from nothing. I said, I don't want you to wax that off at all. I want that to retain that because I'm going to continue to grow them. And I want to just kind of get rid of this and tidy up around it and mostly kind of make my brows as big as possible. I was very, very specific. The second time I knew I'd loved the first time I'd gone, and I knew I was filming it for this video, and I just didn't think, so I didn't tell her that, and she waxed that bottom section off completely, and so now I'm left with a much thinner brow again. Although I love the Benefit Brow Bar experience, you need to be clear about what exactly you want, because you will come away with the brows they think that you want. And how would they know? It's like going to the hairdresser and just assuming that they know what haircut or colour that you want. You need to tell them, you know, this is where I like my fullness, this is the shape that I like. And I've heard people come away and not like the shape of their eyebrows, but I feel like if you are clear with them, you will get what you want, and they'll ask you kind of, is this what you want, is that what you want, and they check at the end of the session that you're happy with the shape, etc, etc. So I think if you're clear, it'll be fine. The first time was excellent and I would definitely go back, but I'm gonna do a little bit of growing them out first of all. And then the products that I'm going to show you next are those that I have been favouring recently. The first brow product that I'm going to be showing you is the Superfine Liner for Brows from Clinique, and this is in soft brown, if this will focus, maybe, if we get my face out of it. And it is just kind of a really, really fine mechanical pencil, very comparable to the MAC one, which I have no idea what this is called, it's all rubbed away, but again, it's the mechanical pencil, the little twist up one. The colour that I have in this one is Fling. Absolutely love this. The problem is, I found that it crumbles and just breaks off all the time, which is massively expensive really for something that's going to be useless. And I've gone through a lot of them. When I'm very, very blonde, I've been like white blonde, and that is the best eyebrow pencil that I've ever found. Soft brown is easier for me right now. It's easier to find a mid brown to dark brown eye pencil than it is blonde. But if you are looking for blonde, I haven't tried any paler shades of this one, but Fling from MAC is amazing. If I want something more defined, I want to fill them in, but I haven't got a lot of time, this is what I reach for. When I have a little bit more time to play with and I want a bit more of a bolder, more defined brow, I really like this Freedom Brow Pomade in Blonde. They also have one in Taupe. I wasn't sure whether or not that was going to be released because I did get them ahead of time and I was told it wouldn't be, but Taupe is also really nice if you're looking for a bit more ash colour. And they can come across as quite dark, but a little bit of practice will show you that you can apply them quite lightly as well. Depends on how bold a brow you want, but I think they're quite versatile. If I was out for a long day, this is definitely what I choose because it's totally budge proof and I know that it's not going to go anywhere. So if I'm in a rush, like today, today is a work day and I have, well, as minimal possible time to get ready as I can possibly manage to do it in, then I would always reach for this, and it's the Gimme Brow from Benefit. This works better definitely if you've got some brows to work with. So at the moment, my brows are a little bit thinner than they were before and it's not as good, but when they were a little bit bigger, when they were a little bit thicker, it definitely was easier. You could just kind of brush this through. You can create brows pretty much from nothing with this if you just got a few hairs for it to cling onto, but it does take a little while and it's not particularly defined, I don't think. If you're just wanting to fill them in a little bit and you want a little bit of colour and quick, I do recommend this. It is relatively expensive given that it's a tiny, tiny amount, but this has lasted me quite a long time. And after I had my brows tinted the first time, for a full 6 weeks after having them done, this is all I used. I didn't use any other brow product, no pencils, no pomades, no nothing, because this is all I felt like I needed. They were tinted enough and they were full enough for me to just kind of sweep this through a little bit, and that filled in the areas that needed filling in and defined them a little bit and kind of kept them looking nice and as if I'd done something to them. But if you are kind of blessed with nice brows to begin with, but you just want a bit of something, you'll probably like this. But also if, like me, you were used to having to create them from nothing with a pencil, and then you've had them tinted and you think that they're almost looking like you want them to look, this is probably going to be an absolute lifesaver. I couldn't believe how easy my brows were after having had that done, just to be able to use this. So I hope if you've ever had any questions about my brows, or kind of any questions about maybe how to make them look thicker or different products that you could use, etc, etc, this may have answered some of them. If you do have any particular requests for other videos, I do have lots coming up. I have some kind of wear and compare videos coming up that I'm quite excited about that hopefully you'll enjoy. But if you have any other requests, please let me know and I will see you guys in my next video.